This is Cable 18, the Cherry Hill Public Schools television station.
Good evening and welcome to this February 11th edition of Eastcast. I'm Liz All, here with Jeff Kahn, usually behind the camera, now for the first time in front of the camera. We're here to bring you all the latest in sports, news, and the general poop on what's going on in high school USA. The news tonight is so hot the copy is burning in my hands. So grab a Shasta, cuddle up to your favorite pet, and hang on, because here's the news. It doesn't matter where you were on Thursday or Friday nights. If you weren't in the little theater, you missed the Lab Theater productions and an amazing time. I got there at about 8 o'clock and things were already underway. I got in for $1 instead of $2.50 because there was standing room only. The plays included To Burn a Witch, Ladies of the Tower, and The Other Side, directed by Mr. Thomas Weaver, and A Life of Time and Rest in Peace, directed by Mr. Sheldon Zeff. Aside from directing, all work was done by students. A total of nearly 50 students were involved in performing, as well as stage managers, technical crew, hospitality, set designers, and more. If you missed the Lab Theater and would still like to see East's extraordinary drama department in action, be sure to see the spring musical Man of La Mancha coming up in March and April. Jeff?
February is Black History Month. This Sunday at Cherry Hill West at 2 p.m., the Cherry Hill Minorities Civic Association will present an observance called An Expression of Joy in Our Heritage. The show features Nanika Afro One Dance Troupe, the Cherry Hill Minority Youth Group, and an African marketplace featuring many local black artisans. Admission is free to the public. Come to this observance at 2 p.m. at West. If you've ever enjoyed a school event, such as a dance or a concert, you can thank the Student Congress. Well, that was the old Congress, and now we have a new one, made up of Jamie Appleson as president, Robin Winitsky, vice president of affairs, Mike Diamondstein, vice president of activities, Stacy Asbell, secretary-treasurer, and doing the publicity is Marcy Shapiro. Now you get the distinct privilege of meeting them in an interview with Evan Ringer.
Jamie, why were the elections held in the middle of the school year?
So that the former officers can tell us, the new officers, of our responsibilities for next year, and so that they can have a little rest, and we can learn to take over.
Robin, what is the difference between your two vice presidencies?
Okay, well, mine is the Vice President of Affairs, and basically I'm in charge of all the elections, which include Student Congress elections, class elections, and the Student Council elections. And also, this will mostly be taking place next year, but I'm also in charge of all the student exchanges that go on.
You, Mike?
Well, Evan, basically my responsibility is to be in charge of all student activities ranging from dances to Spirit Week, and I also help pick out chair people for the different activities.
Marcy, the office of publicity manager is not one held at very many schools. Can you please tell us what your job entails?
Well, basically I have to publicize everything that's going on in school. I have to make signs, I have to put new letters in the signs outside the school so when people pass by they know what's going on. And I have to change the sign in Sewing intersection. So I really have to publicize.
This has been Evan Ringer with 4 of the newly elected candidates for East Student Congress for Eastcast.
This week has been Sad Awareness Week at East, a program organized to inform students from various schools about methods of networking and fundraising, as well as the dangers of drinking and driving. Most of the schools who sent representatives to East yesterday for the main workshops either have SAD chapters or are in the process of starting them. These workshops included beginning and sustaining a SAD program, public awareness, and displays and swap shop of ideas. At noon, there was a workshop in the library led by student representatives of East's Respect for Drugs. Mrs. Brahms, teacher and administrator for this class at East, spoke of the competition and application to the course and of the responsibility involved. An assembly was held today, and one will be held tomorrow to conclude SAD Awareness Week. I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but tonight is the 5th edition of Eastview. And I looked in the back of my Hallmark calendar and discovered the traditional gift for the 5th anniversary, and we're all pretty traditional around here, wouldn't you say, is wood. So I got this little gift for Sheila and Lori. Nothing too great, just a little memento from the bottom of my heart. Happy 5th anniversary to Eastview and Lori and Sheila. Tonight we'll be featuring on Eastview Jan Robbins, a seasoned veteran of that show, with his feature on Charlie Musumeci. We also have several movie reviews: Rick Moravchek's thoughts on The Mosquito Coast, Faye Kim's review of Platoon, and a closer look at Heartbreak Ridge through the eyes of Kenny Bear. In addition, Scott Hodis and John Langer give us a listen and some thoughts on Peter Gabriel's latest album, So.
This Friday, the 13th, many of our senior class will be leaving for Florida. We hope they find sunny skies and have a great time. I'm sure we'll all see you safely back in school bright and early on Tuesday morning.
Yo, dude, where did he go? I don't know. Wow, radical. Well, it was wishful thinking. But we're still here. Working in class. Well, we have no fear. Because it's less than 2 weeks. When we're off from school. We're flying down south. We're wet and wild as coolie cool. Because the senior class trip to Magic Kingdom and Epcot, the 13th to the 16th, is gonna be later.
If you're staying home for the weekend, you can get yourself one of these attractive pink flamingos just to remind you. Well, the Scholastic Art Awards have been around for 60 years. It encourages student achievement in creative art. Honors were offered in 15 classifications: oils, acrylics, watercolors, pencil drawings, and 11 others. Artwork is submitted regionally and promoted by colleges, newspapers, and other qualified organizations. Last week, we featured Blue Ribbon winners. Tonight, we wish to honor the Gold Key winners: Glenn Dunoff, Frederick Feltz, Rebecca Goldman, Linda Lyo, Kathleen Morgan, David Reeves, and Marion Westerfield. Here's Rich Simmers with 2 of the Gold Key winners.
Okay, I'm with 2 of the Gold Key winners, Fred Feltz and Kathleen Morgan. Fred, what medium did you win in?
In block printing.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
What it is you take a linoleum block and then you carve out different portions and you print them one on top of another.
Kathleen, what event did you win in?
I won a Gold Key in sculpture.
Can you tell us about it?
I made 3 ceramic vases and painted them and mounted them on a velvet background.
Okay, congratulations to both of you. This has been Rich Simmers for Eastcast.
The varsity boys basketball team has not been keeping up to par. They've had 3 games since last Wednesday and, unfortunately, lost them all. All 3 games were led in points by Ed Cobbs with 28, 23, and 24 points against Navy, Edgewood, and arch-rival West. I've been assured that it's just a slump and they'll be picking up soon. Tonight after Eastview, you can see the East-West boys basketball game played on February 3rd. Now here is Drew Katz with an interview with Coach John Valori.
Mr. Valori, how many years have you been coaching?
I've been here since 1968, coaching since 1968, and became the varsity coach in 1976. So I believe it's 11 years this year at the varsity level, coaching basketball.
During your last 11 years coaching, who would you say were some of your biggest rivals?
No question about it. I guess you'd have to say Camden High School, Woodrow Wilson High School, and some of the Philadelphia schools we've played. South Philadelphia High School, West Philly. There's some nice clubs we've played over the last 11 years.
How would you compare the ability of this year's varsity team to that of last year's?
I don't think you can compare as far as the skill level is concerned, and also the height level. We're much smaller than last year, and the skill level, there's no question about it. There is a big difference. And I don't want to be put on the spot as far as really questioning our skill level this year versus last year. But we do things a little bit better as far as preparing ourselves for the bowl games.
You're also a younger team this year, is it correct?
Yes, we're a very young club. We do have 2 seniors that play, but we do have 2 juniors that start and 1 sophomore, and we have a couple of juniors who would be playing, but right now they're hurt. So we are young, yes.
Okay. What do you think of the college three-pointer, and do you think it'll ever come into play in the high school level?
I like, first of all, the 45-second clock. I like anything that speeds up the game. I like the three-point play. I think it's a challenge both to the player as well as the coach to change his strategy a little bit and present a challenging situation for him, whether he wants to go for the three-point or whether he wants to go inside. I like the distance, 19.9. I like everything about it.
Do you think it'll ever come into the high school level?
I think the three-point might be in the high school level in the state of New Jersey in 2 years.
The Cougars went on a trip this weekend to the Naval Academy. I heard that was an exciting trip. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I think anytime you get to have an opportunity to get away and have spend an overnight with the team and the coaches, especially at the Naval Academy, there's no question it's a great experience. We may not have won the game, but I think the kids enjoyed the trip, and we're looking forward to going back next year.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Valori. This is Drew Katz for Eastcast.
East Swimmers are a splashing success lately. Last Tuesday, the boys team defeated Triton by a landslide. First places were